Hello and welcome back to my channel, or welcome if you're brand new here. For today's video I'm going to be trying out a full face of brand new makeup brushes. Now, I haven't had new makeup brushes in a while, but the brand HeyMKGO, sorry it's a tongue twister, sent me a brand new set of makeup brushes to try out in this video. So the brushes came in this nice lilac envelope. The brushes have been used, so I will show you those and a little overlay here. But yeah, I'm going to be trying out a full face of new makeup brushes. So this is the makeup here. It turned out really nice. I'm so happy with the way it turned out. So if you want to see how I achieved this look using brand new makeup brushes, just keep watching. Also, thank you to HeyMKGO for sponsoring this video. So I haven't filmed a makeup video like this in about a year and a half, and that's all I used to really film on this channel. But like a lot of people, branched off into other things interest me, and I rarely actually put makeup on these days because of my job and stuff. I don't need to put a full face of makeup on, so I rarely do my makeup like this. So bear with me. I might be a bit out of sorts here, but I'm going to be using this eyeshadow palette in today's video. It is the LA Splash Cosmetics eyeshadow palette. The palette doesn't have a name, but this is what we look like inside. So a very neutral, kind of shimmery eyeshadow look. So I have done my eyebrows off camera. I do not like doing my eyebrows on camera. I just like focusing on the eyebrows because you know how easily they can go wrong. So first thing I'm going to do is carve out the brows before I start the eyes. So now I need to find a brush that's quite similar to the brushes I use to carve out my eyebrows. I suppose this angled brush would probably be best. Oh, I feel so strange, like I haven't filmed a makeup video like this in the longest time, so it's really strange kind of talking through it. The brush I use to carve my eyebrows out is a little bit thinner than this, but I suppose we can still achieve the same thing. This brush is quite dense. I mean, it has done what I wanted it to do. Okay, I'm going to use the good old P. Louise eyeshadow base to prime the eyelids, and I'm going to use my finger just to blend this out. I feel like using my finger with things like this works better than a brush. So I'm just going to blend this out all over the eyelid. Now onto the eyeshadow. So let's see. This is where it gets exciting. Like, this actually shows if these brushes are worth it, if they're going to work, if they're going to do what I want them to do. All that kind of stuff. So we have a few angled blenders in here, but I'm just going to take a big fluffy blender first to do the transition shade. This is what I hate about makeup videos. I tend not to talk a lot, and then when I come edit I hate it because I'm just sitting silently. That blended out not too bad. I know you can't really see it. It's a very light pink shade I'm using for the transition shade. Plus this ring light is very bright, but yeah, this blending brush is blending out really nicely actually. I thought it would be a bit flimsy, but it's actually blending out really nice, which is great. Because when I do my eyeshadow, these kind of brushes are the brushes I use the most. Big fluffy blending brushes. Next, I'm going to take another fluffy brush. This one has a bit of an angle to it, but we'll see how we get on with this. I'm going to go on with the next shade, which is going to be the Crease and Outer V shade. Okay, and this is a real test actually. When you put something in your crease, let's see how it blends out with everything else. This brush is a bit flimsier. If you can see the movement, I think it is quite long. Longer brushes tend to be a bit more flimsy. I think it's blending out not too bad actually, despite it being a bit flimsy. I'm not going to take the shadow out too far because it is quite a natural look. I'm not going to take it right out and wing it out like I used to. It's just coming to kind of the end of the eyebrow. Okay, I'm going to move on to a darker shade and just put that on the outer V. This is a bigger brush than I would usually use for the outer V, but I'm working with what we've got. I'm going to do both eyes at the same time. When it gets to this step, I always go between the eyes. Okay, I'm going to go back in and use the second brush I used and blend that in throughout the crease and make sure everything's blended out nicely. I think that is blended out really nicely actually. Do I think they're going to be my go-to shadow brushes? Maybe not. But a few of them, especially this one, I really like this brush. This was the transition shade brush. So now to put some shimmer on the lid. classic look for Rhiannon. I would always do like a half cut crease and put shimmer on. I'm going to wet this flat brush and apply some shimmer, but what one do I want to add? Amber, citrine or rose quartz. That is the 3 shimmers we have in this palette. Here are our 3 shimmers. This is amber, citrine and rose quartz. You know what, I'm going to put citrine, which is the gold, and wet shimmer shadows. Oh, beautiful. Right, let's apply this. So I haven't actually cut the crease. I'm still kind of putting it in the shape of a half cut crease. Yep, enjoy the way that's applied. Okay, this is how we're looking just now. I'm just going to take one of the brushes and blend that through a little bit again. So I'm going to mix the 2 darker shades and just blend this in. I feel like I've kind of just brushed away some of that shimmer. Yep, I definitely have. Let me go and fix this. Okay, I think I'm happy with the way these eyes have turned out. Nice, neutral kind of look. Brushes blended out quite nicely. Like I said, I don't think they're going to be my go-to brushes anytime I do a look, but they're definitely good brushes to keep in my collection because they do what they're supposed to do. They do blend out really, really nicely. So I've went in with a brown liquid liner. It is the TYNT Phantom Liner. Doesn't have a shade, but it is brown. I feel like brown liner is less harsh than black. Obviously, it's a different shade altogether. But my wings aren't perfect. It's fine. I'm debating lashes, so I'm going to move on with the next step before I decide. So let's move on to the face. So moving on to the face, I'm going to use the Illamasqua primer. I'm trying to use this up because I have set myself a goal to try and use up more products instead of just opening new ones and stuff. It is hard when you like trying out new makeup and stuff, but I'm going to try and use this. I am nearly finished it, which I should have actually finished it a long time ago because look at the size of the pot. So I'm going to use that primer. It's like a gel consistency, so I rub it into my hand all together first and then apply it onto the face. Okay, could be taking my life into my own hands here by using this foundation. I think I've tried it once and I didn't really enjoy it, but I'm going to try it again because why not? We're filming a trying video, let's try a different foundation. So this is the SheGlam Skinfinite Hydrating Foundation in the shade Sand. I use this exact foundation in the full coverage mattifying one and I absolutely love it. Makes the base look so, so nice. So hopefully the hydrating one is just the same. The only difference is it's not going to be mattifying. I'm going to cheat here a little bit. I don't use brushes to put my foundation on, so I'm going to use my beauty blender. Hopefully this is a match as well because I did fake tan last night. Obviously it's a hydrating foundation and it's going to have a different kind of consistency than the mattifying one, but fingers crossed, fingers and toes crossed that this foundation turns out okay. Even though it says hydrating, it does still look full coverage. The foundation is on. In real life it does match my neck. In the camera it looks like my face are different shades, but hopefully powder and stuff can fix this. Sometimes I feel like foundation can look really off before you put the rest of your makeup on your face. So we'll just bear with. Next I'm going to put concealer on. Usually I use a beauty blender. I'm going to try a brush, right? This brush looks like it would be very good for concealer. So I'm going to try it out and if not I'll go back to the beauty blender. And let's see how we go with this brush. Oh, ow. Okay, this brush isn't as soft as the eyeshadow brushes. It's very, very dense and it is a bit jaggy. It is blending slightly. Sorry, I'm going to go back in with the beauty blender to blend out this concealer. You know, it's maybe just because I'm not used to using a brush for concealer. The brush just wasn't blending out the way I would like it to. So, in with the old beauty blender. Okay, that is concealer blended out. Now powder. I need to powder my face very quickly and I can already see these kind of crease lines in my forehead, aka my wrinkles. I have a very wrinkly forehead. I can already see the product getting caught in the wrinkle lines. So I'm just going to quickly blend over again and then we will move on to powder. Okay, I use one of these powder puffs to firstly put on my powder and I've just got it all over my dress. And you probably think I'm mad, I use the Coty Airspun loose powder all over my face. It's the only powder that really seems to work for me. It doesn't give me like a white flashback, so no flashback Mary is in the house. But I just really like the way it makes the skin look. And I actually done Sean's makeup when we were just on holiday there. and I put this all over his face and his makeup stayed in place all night. So I'm going to use this brush just to brush all the powder away. This isn't as big as my usual powder brush. This is the size of my usual powder brush. So a bit different in size, but we're going to go with it. Just going to brush all the powder away. Okay, I'm going to use this brush for a bronzer. It's a different shape of brush than I would usually use, but like I said, we're trying it out. We're trying out different products, different brushes, different kinds of techniques in this video. Why not? Just try it all out. I'm going to go in with this Sigma bronzer in medium matte bronze. Moment of truth. Very different shape of brush than I usually use. Just going back over and over and over to make sure it blends out the way I like it. I do prefer a kind of harsh bronze. I like to see that you have bronzed your face. My bronzer kind of verges on contouring as well. I never really got into the full bronzer and contour. I kind of just put the bronzer where the contour would go. So I don't really know what I do. I do what kind of works for me. Okay, it's blending out really nicely on the forehead with this brush, but let's work on the cheekbones a little bit more. I've maybe just been a bit too heavy-handed on the right side. Okay, I think I'm happy with that. That was not too bad actually. As much as it's a different shape brush than I usually use for my bronzer, I can probably get behind this shape of brush because it does blend nicely. It's quite dense, so it doesn't go everywhere. Usually the brush I use for bronzer isn't as dense as this, so the bronzer sometimes goes down the way, which we know we don't do. We always blend up the way, especially with bronzer. But yeah, I could probably get behind this brush. So I don't know when I'm going to stop using this blush. I have used this blush religiously since I got it. It still has so much left in the pan. It is a pre-marked blush in the shade Adored. And honestly, I just love it. And I'm using this flat top brush. So this is a big difference to the brush I usually use for blush. So hopefully it goes well, it blends out nicely, and all that good stuff. Because this is very pigmented. So as a stippling brush, so I'm just stippling the blush into my cheeks, and I bring my blush all the way up to where the bronzer is as well. I like blush. So I bring it up to my temples almost. Okay, so like I said, this blush is very pigmented, and I usually go over this with another brush to kind of blend it all out. So I might need to cheat and do that. Sorry if the camera angle's changed or anything like that. The battery died on me. Let's continue with the blush. So that applied really nicely, but even with my own brush, I still need to go over with a good old blending brush and just blend it all together. It's nothing to do with these brushes. I do it literally all the time. This brush is honestly from the first ever brush set I ever got back in 2010, I want to say. And it's the only brush, not to tell a lie, the brush I use to carve my eyebrows out usually, and this brush are the only brushes I still have left from this collection. And it's the Fräulein 38. Does anybody remember those? Those used to be the full hype for makeup brushes back in the day. And I love this. I love it so much. I still use it to blend out all the makeup. I love it. So, wee bit of nostalgia there for you. Lastly, we're moving on to highlight. So we don't have a highlight brush. We have this brush, which is a really weird shape. I'm not going to try and use that for highlight. I think for highlight, I'm just going to use this angled shadow brush. I know it's not for that, but we don't have a highlight brush. So, I'm just going to go in with this. Cupid's bow. Down the bridge of the nose. Here, and this is not the highlight I usually use. I usually use the Doll Beauty one, which I absolutely love, but I dropped it on holiday and smashed it, so that's not good. I'm going to set the face and we'll move on to the eyes, lips, and then we'll be done. Zoomed in a little bit again. I'm going to go back to this eyeshadow palette and do a little under eye shadow. I'm going to take the light brown and use this brush. Now this is a flathead. Not sure how this is going to go. This could be the make it or break it, but let's see. I mean, that's not the brush I would usually use for this part of my makeup. this brush is not cutting it for what I want, so let me take another brush. It's just not as fluffy as I need it to be for this part of my eye. It would apply fine, but when you try to blend it out, it's not a blending brush, you know. I just wanted to try it. So the lashes are on, the lips are done, and that is a full face of makeup trying out these new makeup brushes, plus some new products, some new techniques. So I really enjoyed filming this video. I don't know if I will start filming makeup videos again, but we'll just need to wait and see. So that was my full face of makeup trying out the HeyMKGO makeup brushes. So thank you again for sponsoring this video. I really enjoyed filming this video and trying out the new makeup brushes. So yeah, I hope you enjoyed. Don't forget to like and subscribe. I could really use your support, and until next time, see you in my next video. Bye!